What's up, everybody? Smooth Cosplayer here, your favorite salsa dancing cosplayer, bringing you guys another costume spotlight. This one is going to be on my Virgil cosplay. Virgil from the World Wrestling Federation, the WWF. Yes, it was called the WWF back then. So I came into this cosplay from watching some colleagues of mine, some very good friends of mine, in the Finest, the G.I. Joe Costume Club. A lot of my friends in the Finest happen to also be part of a group called Legends of 80s Wrestling, where a lot of them will dress up as, a lot of wrestling stars in the mid to late 80s, kind of leaking into the 90s a little bit. You got, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Macho Man Randy Savage, Big Boss Man, so on and so forth. So many wrestlers that were my favorites, so many that I grew up with. So a good friend of mine, Noel, dressed up as the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And as I saw all the fun they were having with this, their ritual is they would go, they would meet up on Friday at Dragon Con, and Dragon Con, there's a whole crap ton of hotels linked together, and they basically would just walk all the way through each hotel and pretty much take a couple of hours to do so, because everybody would see them and be like, dang, that's my childhood walking right in front of me. And they get stopped for pictures, every 5 feet or whatever. So I'm like, I need to get down on this. I need to get in on this. I was a big wrestling fan. I don't watch it as much anymore, but my mom got me into wrestling when I was little. I always grew up watching WCW, WWF. We was broke all the time, so I didn't get a chance to watch but so many pay-per-views. But anyway, so I was like, I need to get in on this. What character can I do? And I thought, you know what, my boy does $1 Million Man. Why don't I be his bodyguard, Virgil? So I approached my man, Johnny K. Big shout out to Johnny K. If you guys have seen any of my pictures on Facebook or any of my pages where I'm dressed as anything from G.I. Joe, you probably have seen a couple of his photos. He's a very good photographer. So big shout out to Johnny K. He is the head of the Legends of 80s Wrestling costume group, and he cosplays as Rowdy Piper. I always found that hard to say. So I approached him and said, hey, I'm thinking if you guys will have me, I'm thinking of joining the wrestling group as Virgil. And funny thing is, he said to me, we kind of was thinking of asking you anyway, but we kind of didn't want to be offensive by asking you, because here's the thing. Now, this is nothing against them. I love my folks in the Finest. I love my folks in Legends of 80s Wrestling. They have never made me feel like the token black guy. A lot of times I am the only black guy, but I've never felt like that. I've never felt tokenized. I've never felt like that. But I bring that up to make this point. All my otherwise not people of color brothers and sisters, I love y'all. I do consider y'all brothers and sisters, but I need some of y'all to think before you ask this question. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't ask your black friend or your black associate to cosplay with you because you need, that somebody of color to be that one token character of color in the cosplay group. But think before you do that. I was not offended. Even if he had come to me and asked me to be Virgil, I wouldn't have been offended, because I came to that thought anyway. I wouldn't have been offended, but there are a lot of people who will be, because a lot of times we're used to, as black and otherwise people of color, a lot of times somebody will say, hey, we need somebody to be the token black character in our group, even though we've rarely ever talked to you, even though I wouldn't ask you to cosplay at any other time. Let me ask you to cosplay so you can be our token black person. If that's your motivation, stop. Don't do that. Now, again, there's a lot of nuance involved in it. There's a lot of it's not a black and white thing, no pun intended, or maybe kind of intended. So I'm not saying don't do it. Just be careful. Just be mindful. Consider your friend or your associate's feelings when you go to ask them to do that. Okay. So that's enough on that point. And again, if anybody's from the Finest or the 80s Legends of 80s Wrestling group watching this, I love y'all. I did not feel that way at all with y'all. Y'all cool. That's my family. That's my first cos family right there. Okay. But yeah, back to the main point. So I was a little conflicted with this cosplay because I wanted to be accurate with this one. I'm all for accuracy. Sometimes I do want to be accurate. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I don't want to be the character if I'm not going to be 1,000% accurate, so I vary with that. But with this one, I want it to be completely accurate, but at the same time, my budget was about this big. So I actually found the right suit for it at Goodwill. Y'all don't sleep on getting stuff from Goodwill if you haven't been shopping there already. Like, sometimes you can get some good stuff for your costumes from there. So it was very worth a try. So got the suit that I needed from there, got the sleeves cut off, found a shirt, cut the sleeves off of that too. Now, a lot of the buttons were missing and some of the buttons were in the wrong place. I don't know how that happened, so I fixed that with some, I was able to get some little Velcro pieces and use some E600. I don't know if it's E600 or E6000. I always get that confused, but I was able to fabric glue those Velcro pieces on the shirt on the inside, so that way I didn't have to worry about the missing buttons. Got a cheap bow tie cummerbund for it, with some shoes I already had. Now, as far as the collar, he had a very gaudy looking collar. It was very shimmery or whatever, so I was able to buy some fabric to match that, but I was not very skilled at sewing it. So I got a friend of mine to sew it for me. Big shout out to Nye. She has cosplayed with me before. If you've ever seen any pictures of me in Snake Eyes, and there was a Jinx with me, and that was her. So she sewed that on. She has since like blown up, at least in the salsa world. I forget if she is the owner of this company or if she is a manager. So I say that in case I'm misspeaking, but if you guys look up my Corpo Lindo, I will put the link for that in the description. But she is an entrepreneur. She's a very good designer, so y'all go check her out. So she sewed that on there for me, and there I had it. I had my Virgil cosplay. Oh, I also, to fit with the money team, $1 Million team, I actually bought, some fake money, so that way as I'm walking around, I can just have my money, because Virgil always has just this scowl, this look of disinterest and disdain on his face. It's kind of mean mugging the whole time, and just carrying a lot of money. So fit in very well with my boy Noel, my friend Noel, who dressed up as $1 Million Man. So sometimes he will, as we're walking around, he'll let me borrow his $1 Million belt so I can take pictures with it. Joined in on the fun and had lots of fun. It's a ritual we have every Friday again with the Legends of 80s wrestling group, just taking over. Like, we can't go 4 or 5 feet without getting pictures. Sometimes we just have to stop and just go, because otherwise we won't go anywhere. Now, one really good thing that came out of this was that I found out that the $1 Million Man himself was going to be at Pensacon the very next year, Pensacon in Pensacola, Florida. And I found out that he actually was preaching a sermon at a church service there. And I was like, being a Christian myself, I was like, what? He's a preacher? He's a minister? I got to go see this. So I asked Noel if I could borrow his $1 Million belt for the weekend, took it down there, actually wore my Virgil cosplay to church that day, and I got a picture with him. So that was pretty awesome. He was very open and transparent about his life and in his sermon. So that I feel like I got to know him a little bit with that, and it was good to see some of the behind the scenes with what happens with the professional wrestling life and everything. But yeah, that is it for Virgil. We'll be bringing you guys another cosplay spotlight next month. You guys have a good night, have a good time with whatever con you're going to next. Good luck on your cosplay builds. Please hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, and I will see y'all at the next video. Peace.